one of the most enlightening and challenging times of my life was the semester I spent as a student teacher, high school English. In particular, the 9th grade class was a challenge to me because I came in with such enthusiasm for eclecticism in the classroom and taking an individualistic, creative approach. And I found that these students just absolutely froze up when I didn't give them enough clear, narrow boundaries and expectations. If I said, do whatever you want, you literally can't go wrong, they just would stare at me blankly like, what are you talking about? This is some kind of cruel trick you're playing on us. And I think we carry that 9th grade mindset through a lot of our lives, and there's nothing wrong with clear-cut boundaries for sure, and clear expectations and intentions. But this sense of looking outside of ourselves constantly for somebody to tell us what the rules are and to tell us how to do, give me 3 steps. How do I do this thing? How do I succeed? What's the surefire way of having a successful relationship or a successful career or a happy life, or just to get through the day with toddlers, whatever it is? The truth is there are as many ways as there are people, because even if I give you a map, something that worked for me, arrive at this place, you're gonna arrive there at a different time of day, and it's gonna look different at dusk than it did for me at noon. And so you're gonna need to navigate differently and have different supplies on hand. And you're going to have experienced different trials before you got there, so you will be a different kind of prepared. As similar as we are, as much as we have in common as human beings, my map is going to be different than your map. And so the best we can do is swap stories and allow things to reach us when they reach us. But the other part of that is to begin to look at our lives more as we look at characters in a novel, with a little more detachment, a little more objective observation. When I'm in the middle of a great story, I don't want that story to come to an end because I'm so in love with the characters and the journey that they are on. So if I'm on page 163 and this character is miserable, I am feeling her misery and her pain. I might even shed a tear, but I trust that this story has a shape to it. It has a shape and a purpose, and it's going to arrive at a satisfying conclusion much sooner than I want it to, in fact. So we can allow the tension in a story in a way we tend not to allow it in ourselves. We want to know exactly what's going to happen. What do I do next? But what we are most likely to experience at the end of our lives, if we follow that route of flipping pages, always trying to guess what's coming, is we're going to get to the end and we're going to be like, okay, now that I know it turns out like this, I want to go back and experience it. I want to go back and be present, just like in that movie About Time. What if instead we anticipate that that's going to be true for us? We will look back and wish more than anything, or be glad more than anything, for having been present for our own good story. We just stay on this page. We just be on the page we're on. Whether everything is feeling great and together and aligned at the moment, or whether there's this tension and this growth happening and this waiting or this longing, like, let it be a little bit delicious, even if it's sad. I said that to a friend of mine the other day, and she's like, ooh, my 4-ishness loves delicious sadness. And I was like, I get that. There are times in our lives when we are in deep sadness that doesn't feel at all delicious because we are so close to it. We're so wrapped and entangled in it. But if we can back up and allow ourselves to feel as if we are feeling the feelings of a person on the page, that feels more like a healthy engagement with our lives, where we're fully engaged but not overly attached to getting what we want right now. How can you allow yourself to not have a really boring 3-point assignment handed to you as your life, but instead really trusting that the teacher means it when they say, express yourself today on the page. What do you want to make today? Put that down, give that to me. I want to see your soul alive on the page or whatever you're making. And also just be here, be on this page, because it's a good page and it's a really great story and you are a really beautiful protagonist.